Welcome back. This is part 2 of the Trail Talk episode on inflation, gas prices, and housing. Because you can't have a full discussion of the economy without addressing the housing crisis. Biden and Harris started a program to help communities address barriers to new affordable housing called Pro-Housing. It deals with problems like bad or outdated zoning and land use laws, aging houses, displacement pressure, inadequate infrastructure, and risks of extreme weather. The result of programs like this is that there are more affordable housing units under construction right now than any time in the last 50 years. Homeownership rates are actually now higher than before the pandemic, and rent assistance saw its biggest expansion in 20 years. They published a plan to build 2 million affordable rental units and starter homes, cap rent increases at 5%, and help first-time and first-generation homebuyers. Kamala Harris is also suggesting a way to guarantee affordable housing to hundreds of thousands of extremely low-income veterans and teens aging out of foster care, the two groups most at risk of homelessness. Trump tried every year he was in office to triple the rent of low-income families in subsidized housing. During this campaign, he's been pretty silent on the housing crisis, but his Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Ben Carson, wrote a policy plan for his second term. The plan calls for undoing every action of the Biden-Harris administration, dismantling large portions of the department, and eliminating any initiatives concerned with climate change. It concedes that housing supply is a problem and that restrictive zoning is a major obstacle to affordable housing construction, but then doubles down on preventing federal interference with zoning and rejects the goal of constructing affordable apartments or multifamily housing. Under this plan, undocumented immigrants and U.S. citizens living with an undocumented person would become ineligible for public housing, something Trump attempted in his first term. The plan calls for repealing the Biden-Harris regulation on affirmatively furthering fair housing. This currently fights to ensure equal access to subsidized housing for communities of color, women, and LGBTQ+ families. It also proposes ending the housing-first approach to homelessness, calling the notion that homelessness is primarily caused by circumstances rather than individual behavior a far-left idea. Trump recently doubled down on his proposal for large tariffs that would raise prices across the board, suggesting that a tariff be used to completely replace the income tax. This would require a 67% tariff on all imported goods, which would be the equivalent of if we had a blanket 15% income tax. For reference, a median income North Carolinian currently only pays 6.6% federal income tax, which is almost $3,000 less than this plan would be. That's it for our last economy episode. Join us next week when Kwame will take a look at healthcare. Until then, this is Trail Talk.